to you.
Hi, ma'am. Could you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. How are you? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, ma'am. So glad to be back again. Been associated with you and the organization. So yeah, I am very privileged that there's a good initiative which has been taken. So yeah, I will get started in a minute. Just I'm trying to connect my system, and then I'll be able to walk you through the DApp and then decentralized application and everything. So please, I request a minute so that I can connect my system appropriately, and we'll get started.
Sure, take your time. Participants are also joining, so please take your time.
Sure.
Participants, we will be also requesting you to provide your feedback. And this is, although the project is ending in June 2023, this month only, but we would like to create an academic network of all the 4 nations so that we can collaborate and think and develop something good for the South Asia region, for the development of our own beloved nation. So my request to you is to don't treat this as one course. This is going to create a very strong network of our 4 important countries in the South Asia region, so that we can think of sustainability of this program for empowering girls in IT-enabled sectors. So Manas Rani is asking some question. There is no second session yesterday. There was a second session, Kishore Babu, and Samir Jain took the session. Today we will be having a first session from 10 to 12. Mr. Prasanth Sahu, I request you can take a pause whenever you want, because it's a 2-hour session. You have been a trainer, so you know when to stop, when to answer the questions. I should not say that, but in this long session, a conversation with participants will definitely help them understand things better. And participants, you are always free to raise your hands or ask questions in the chat box. So the first session is from 10 to 12, then we will have a brief break, and then from 12:30 to 14:30. That is the idea. Okay. So Kishore, Babu, that is, you have to take care of how do you attend all these sessions. And Ranu Sahu is asking when we will get certificates of data science FDP. Well, for data science, whosoever attended and data science, whosoever attended and got cleared in the examinations, data science was for faculty. So whosoever attended full we issued the certificate for that. Perhaps you have not attended, so we expect at least 75% attendance. We have relaxed also to a little bit like 70, but perhaps you have not attended fully. Yeah, first session, Sushil Azad, I'm sorry. I was supposed to take, but the fellow was interested in taking a session, so I allotted him. Then we realized that he did not take the session. So it's okay. Sometimes it happens. I told you 75% attendance is required, Mekhla Sharma ji. Any other question? Gunjan and all other people, please do not tell us to ask us to send video link sessions, and slides are not necessary. We will not be sharing slides. If whenever they are shared by the speaker, we will be sharing, but video link we are constantly doing. So please do not ask again and again. Thank you so very much. PPT we will not be sharing unless the speaker himself shares. We are not requesting PPT to requesting the speakers to share their PPT. You can see that participants can access all the contents. Just see the chat box in which Google Drive's access is given. Yes, Samir is actually traveling. We will be sharing yesterday's hands-on session coding. Sure about that. Because he's traveling, he may share a little later. Wait till then, please. Kuldeep Singh Jadhav, we will be contact details. You can find, I will request Neha Pandey to give you the email ID. Neha, if you have his email ID right now, you can paste on the chat box. Dr. Shalini Noria, Zoom automatically captures all the activities and the number of the total duration in minutes of each participant's attendance. So you need not bother about every session. It also captures for how many minutes you have attended. Sushila Azad, there are wonderful Solidity tutorials. There are wonderful Hyperledger Fabric tutorials, and there are wonderful other tutorials. We have also learned from there. I suggest you just explore that. Ethereum, Solidity, and remix.org. So you can see Mr. Samir Jain's email ID is Samir, SAMIR JAIN at IITDMJ.ac.in. Are you ready, Prasanth, now? Prasanth, are you ready now? We are waiting for your lecture. Are you here, Mr. Prasanth? Yeah. No, Kishore Babu, I never told that 11:30 a.m. second session is going to start. It was 12:30. The fellow who took the first session, I mean, has concluded early. So the second session will not be advancing, right? Because everybody accordingly, it's very difficult to advance, right? Prasanth Sahu, if you are able to do it, please let us know. Otherwise, we will start something else so that participants are not kept waiting. Sorry. Mr. Prasanth, are you available?
Yes, ma'am. The updates are done. So just give me a minute. I am connecting through another account.
Waiting for last 15 minutes. I'm sorry to tell you, but we don't have the time of our participants is really precious.
Yeah, thank it's done. So just joined.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ma'am, please allow me to unmute myself from the other account. I'm just logging off from here. Just try to
another account. Okay.
Same account, please. Same account, same name. I'm just trying to drop off from here. Just allow me there. Okay.
Well, you are already unmuted. I don't know if there is any other.
The host is not allowing participants to unmute themselves.
Ma'am, he must be logged in from another system.
Are you logged in? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yes, I have allowed you. He has used another account, perhaps. Yes. Now, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes. Perfect, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so very much for your understanding, because participants are waiting for last 15 minutes, 17 minutes now. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Sure. Hey, everyone. Okay. Good morning to all of you. So glad that all of you have been part of this interesting project, which ma'am was explaining. So as part of this, today we will be discussing about what exactly is a DApp, a decentralized application. Like, what do we call it as? What are its applications? So when we say DApp, right, like it is an application. So how that application will be helpful? Okay, what are all the things which are being used in the industries? Okay, what are different case studies being available? So these are some topics where we will be able to walk through and understand the real-time scenarios. And afternoon, we will understand the process and the practicality of it, like how we will be able to leverage the DApp, and then how we can be able to write a code and how we can be able to deploy it. So it will be more towards getting an understanding of the tools, how to do the things. That will be the entire agenda for today, which I will be taking up this morning and as well as the afternoon session. Okay, and if there are any questions or any such things, you can always feel free to ask me, and I will give you all enough gap so that you all can digest the content appropriately, and then we will be able to go through. And if you have any questions, you can please feel free to ask, put it in the chat box. I may not give you an immediate response, but whenever a particular topic is completed, and then when I believe that this question has to be taken, I will take all your questions and I will answer. Okay. So there's no doubt in that. So let's go ahead and get started. Before that, let me quickly share my screen, and from there on, we can be able to proceed further. Okay, hope that my screen is visible to all of you. Could you all please quickly confirm it?
Yes, it is visible.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, see, before we dig into DApp, what exactly is a DApp, a decentralized application? In order to create it, in order to use it effectively, or if you want to implement that, there are certain things which we all should be aware of.
Like what exactly those are? The very first thing here in this case is, let me try to say you would have gone through Bitcoin, or you would have some understanding with regards to Bitcoin and the fundamentals of the blockchain. When I say fundamentals, it is the properties of the blockchain. These things, maybe you would have got some idea on what it is all about. But here, the point what we all should be able to consider is, if you want to create any application on the blockchain platform, there are so many applications of the blockchain available for us. Some among them are your Bitcoin, Ethereum, you have your Polygon, Solana, so many applications are being there. Okay, now the confusion comes when there are so many applications that which one I have to choose. And even if I choose, do I have market value? Can I be able to take something which is very popular and people are doing it? So I would say there may be n number of applications in the market, doesn't matter, but you should select the one which is having a good market share. And the best among them, if you could see on my screen, that is Ethereum. Okay. So whatever the Ethereum is present over here, right? This Ethereum is actually very demand. Okay, it is in such a great demand that after Bitcoin, it stands second to it is our Ethereum. Okay, now when I say Ethereum, right? Ethereum has the capability for anybody of us to create applications, provided we know what is the concept. You, me, anybody who wants to create applications on top of the blockchain platform, okay, Ethereum is said to be the efficient one for all of them. Now, you may ask me, can't I be able to do it on Bitcoin? You cannot be able to do it on Bitcoin flexibly, because Bitcoin is meant only for cryptocurrency. That means you can be only able to transfer it, receive it, or put it on your wallet in the whole state, like so that whenever you want to spend, you will be able to spend it. That's it. Apart from that, you cannot be able to utilize your Bitcoin in any of the other ways. But whereas Ethereum is not like that. Ethereum says, I act as a cryptocurrency. Ethereum says that I act as a cryptocurrency. Okay, apart from acting as a cryptocurrency, okay, I also ensure that I allow you to develop the applications on top of my platform also, is what Ethereum is giving as an extra advantage to us. Bitcoin is also giving you cryptocurrency. Ethereum is also giving you a cryptocurrency called as a Ether. If both of them are same, then Ethereum wouldn't have become popular, because in cryptocurrency world, Bitcoin is still the first, after which only everything comes. But why Ethereum has become so unique and popular is because Ethereum is allowing people to create applications on top of its platform, due to which it is very, very popular. Ethereum is. First of all, this understanding should be very clear to all of you before you know what is a DApp and its understanding, and then the practicality of it. This is the base foundation which all of you should be able to have it. Now, when I talk about DApp, from where it is getting originated, from where are we trying to create? The answer is Ethereum. So if you create any application on top of Ethereum, then that will automatically be called as a DApp. A decentralized application is what it will become. That is the main thing from where we should be able to get started from. Okay, so tomorrow if someone asks you, so you are creating a DApp that is so great, okay, and it's really nice, but can you explain me, okay, the base or the foundation from where you are creating this DApp? Okay, on what layer is this DApp sitting? The answer is Ethereum blockchain. You are making your decentralized application, in short called as a DApp, sitting on top of the Ethereum platform. That is the reason Ethereum is something which you all should actually be aware of. So without knowing the significance of it, you cannot be able to proceed further. Okay, so this is the understanding which all of you should actually be able to consider. Okay, that is the reason I'm trying to emphasize more on Ethereum as of now. Okay, because all of you should have that understanding. then the DApp becomes easier for you, because DApp at the end of the day is nothing but Ethereum only. Okay, because any application, whatever you create at the end on top of Ethereum, right, it becomes a decentralized application. This understanding, we all should actually be able to maintain it. Okay, so now you see another term over here. Okay, you see another term over here called as the smart contracts. Now, what is the smart contracts over here? Okay, so when I say smart contracts, right, first of all, the smart contract means this is your contract. Okay, like how a DApp works, you know, a decentralized application is this. Where will this decentralized application sit? It will sit on top of the Ethereum platform. Okay, this understanding, we got it right now. Now, within the DApp, you have to write a code. Okay, within the decentralized application, you need to write the code and need to make the things clear over here. Okay, so now what you are going to do within the DApp, you are going to write the contracts. Okay, within the DApp, you are going to write the smart contracts. So every DApp is an individual smart contract. Like, let me say you an example. Let us say you are creating an e-commerce application on top of blockchain. For example, I'm saying you, okay? Now that becomes what? That is the e-commerce DApp. You are creating the e-commerce smart contract and deploying it. So that became an e-commerce DApp. Now you are creating a healthcare DApp, let us say. Then you are creating a smart contract of healthcare, okay, which will be present in a DApp, due to which it will be segregated as a healthcare DApp. So every sector where you observe that the blockchain is implemented, that means they have individual smart contracts being present with them. Okay, so some of you may be having an idea what is a smart contract. Some of you may not be aware of what exactly is a smart contract, but you don't need to worry. I will take you through those concepts, that what is a smart contract and all. So knowing this will make your DApp concept much, much easier, and you can understand from base to advanced level. If I come and get started in between and make you understand DApp, then you're going to get a half knowledge, which I don't. Starting from first to last, you should know the in and out of the DApp, considering whatever the session which I'm having today. Okay, we may not go to the very advanced level, but at least you'll have a very good understanding about this decentralized application. So this would be the agenda where we will be able to get started and make sure that all of these things we are trying to leverage it. So if I take you further, okay, so Ethereum, the founder is Vitalik Buterin. Okay, the founder of Ethereum, if you see, right, it is Vitalik Buterin who is actually the founder of Ethereum, and he only has come up with this DApp and all of these concepts, because if there is no Ethereum, there is no DApp, because DApp has to sit on top of Ethereum. Now, if Ethereum itself is not there, then what is that we will be able to do over here? Nothing. So that is the reason that this person's contribution to the blockchain world is immense. Okay, so at the age of 19, he has contributed this project, Vitalik Buterin, and then we were being able to be successful with this Ethereum part. And today it is been second to Bitcoin, and it has been really doing great in the market. And you see at one end, you have your Ethereum. Okay, you have your Ethereum over here, and then you have your Bitcoin over here. Okay, now Ethereum and Bitcoin are actually having a common handshake, because they are somewhere being collaborated. So where they are collaborated, because the technology what we are using right here, okay, the technology which we are actually using in this case is blockchain. Okay, so that is something which is common to both of them. Okay, this is something which is said to be common to both of them. Okay, where we are able to leverage one common technology and then giving the services in different ways. As you know, one major difference is Bitcoin does not allow you to create DApps. There is no such DApps over here, whereas Ethereum allows you to create a decentralized application. Okay, this provision is available in Ethereum. There are again so many other differences, so many other common points, but let's not go into all of those things, because our core area today is more towards the DApp. a decentralized application. So let's make sure that we've been sticking to that particular area only. Okay. So this is something which we should be able to consider over here, that how this DApp is said to be an important concept. Okay. So moving further over here, in this case, if you see here, right, Ethereum is giving you that leverage or that property where within the block, see, this is your blockchain. If you see here, right, this is your entire blockchain. So within your blockchain, you will also see your applications are also being deployed. Let me say I have created a healthcare application. Okay. Now, as I'm creating it on top of Ethereum platform, so it becomes a decentralized application. Now, this decentralized application as it is, right? So this healthcare application will be deployed into the blockchain. That means at the end of the day, these applications are becoming safe and secure. Now, you may ask me a question. Let me say, okay, generally we are creating applications, right? Like so many web applications, mobile applications are being created in the world. But right now, why do I need to create a DApp? Is there any advantage or is there any significance for that? Yes. Because at the end of the day, any application you create it on top of Ethereum platform will become a decentralized and distributed. That means what I'm saying is nobody is going to control that. Let me say you have a Facebook or a Twitter account. Okay, you log into that account and you create your own account and you believe that that belongs to you. Okay, where you can post whatever you want. But let me say if there is an offense from any of the entity or an organization. Okay, so then what is going to happen over here? So let us say if they want to go ahead and try to remove the post or the content, right, that can easily be done because that is been controlled by some entity or an organization. So at the end of the day, that's how the centralized world works. But whereas over here, when we make the things decentralized, there is no single owner for it. Everything gets distributed and decentralized, and anybody can be able to do whatever they require within this application. So due to which this has a lot of significance. And on top of that, the application which gets created on top of Ethereum platform, right, that gets deployed into the blockchain directly. Okay, so that becomes safe and secure. Then you can bring in the properties of the blockchain, which is immutable, decentralized, and distributed. And the hashing would also be added to it. Consensus would also be present. So automatically it becomes much, much safe and secure. And your application would also be preserved without any irregularities and any hackings being done over the system. That is the significance of a DApp. Okay, when you think in your mind, okay, today I'm creating or I'm talking about a DApp. So can't we create an application and do the things very simply? But I'm just giving you the answer that why I don't want to go with an application and prefer using decentralized application called as a DApp. The reason being, it is getting deployed into the blockchain with all the benefits. And on top of that, I'm making my application totally decentralized so that there is no single owner for it who say that, no, I can be able to do whatever I want. No, everyone is an owner. Everything gets distributed and decentralized so that nobody can actually be able to tamper even if they wish to do. Okay, that is the significance of a decentralized application, which we should be able to create. Okay, that is the reason the world is going right now to Web3. Web3 means everything is your decentralized application only. Now, world is going towards Web3 and many of the organizations, applications have already moved into Web3. Web3 means it's all decentralized applications only, which we are trying to refer to as a DApp over here. That's how the world is getting evolved. That's how the world wants that nobody should control anything and everybody should be able to do whatever they want. Second thing is the world wants to make sure that all the applications are preserved as much as they can so that nobody can come and try to take away the data, whatever they want. And at the end of the day, these two requirements are being fulfilled by DApp. So that is the reason the answer is DApp, and that's the reason you and me are taking some time and understanding what exactly is a decentralized application today. Okay, that is the significance of the DApp which is been available for us right now in the market. Okay, so in order to go ahead, okay, and create a DApp, See, DApp means what? It is an application at the end of the day. How can an application be created? If I want to create an application, what is that I need? So in the application, I need two things. One is my front end, where users will be able to interact. That is your UI or UX, user interface or your user experience, where people will be able to collaborate and connect through front end. And another one will be your back end, where your code, database, everything is going to be present. Okay, these two should be combined so that all of the things should be worked appropriately if any user is requesting any of the details. That's how basically an application should actually be present, like where we can be able to go ahead, okay, try to add the information, whatever we want using the front end. And then in the back end, your code and everything will be present. Now, tomorrow, when you become a blockchain developer, or when you are interested towards this blockchain development, your core area will be back-end part. Okay, you will not be a front-end person, because front-end engineers are those who knows about Angular, React, Flutter, HTML, CSS. Those are the different set of people. Even though application requires both of them, but if you look at the technology and technicalities over here, we will fit over here in this case, the backend part. Okay, now in the backend, that means you need to create an application. To create an application, you need to know the code. Without knowing the code, then you cannot be able to proceed further. See, if you know, you can develop. If you don't know, you will hire a developer and make sure that the development is done. But that is a different story. Let's not enter into it. My point to all of you here is, in the backend, you need to have a code available for it. Then only you can be able to create an application. So that code, what you want to write, is what I'm trying to refer till now as smart contract. If you remember, right? What did I say? Smart contract. Smart contract will be present in an application that will be present at the back end. And that will make sure that all the things are being run appropriately. Now, if I talk little bit technically, like one step further, I want to go. Okay, and I want to add the technicality for it. So now what I'm trying to say over here is, let me say, if I want to write the smart contract, I cannot write it in the English language or whatever language I require. You need to follow a standard to create a smart contract, and for which you need to use a Solidity programming language. So Solidity is the programming language which has to be used in order to develop your smart contract, which will be present at the back end in your decentralized application. And along with that, you will also be able to have your blockchain also at the back end only, because at the end of the day, this entire decentralized application will be present on your blockchain. That is both your front end and back end. But what I'm talking explicitly right now is little technicality. Now, what I'm saying, let me say if anyone asks you, hey, you said that you created a DApp. Okay, so what is that which is there in the DApp? So you can say that I have created a smart contract using a Solidity programming language, and whatever is your use case, you can be able to explain that. Okay, so Solidity is a high-level programming language. Okay, this is basically a high-level programming language, and this Solidity was being introduced by Gavin Wood. Okay, so this Solidity is a very simple programming language. I don't know whether you are already aware of it or not, but basically Solidity is a very simple language. I would say if you already have a programming experience, it will become much easier for all of you. The people who don't have the programming experience, okay, so you can get started with Solidity. It will take some time, but definitely you can be able to understand the things in an easier way. Because Solidity takes up same OOPS concepts, the object-oriented programming system. Okay, and it is extracted majorly from the C++ and Node.js. So it's a very simple language. It's not so complicated for us to go through. Okay, there are so many tutorials, documentation also available with regards to Solidity, where you can make your hands dirty by doing a lot of programming and getting expertise into the Solidity programming language. But again, the call is with you, like how you want to take the Solidity programming language with you, but this is the process. Now, You may think in your mind that is it only Solidity being present as the programming language to create the smart contracts? Are we not having any other programming languages available if I want to opt for? Then I would say the answer is yes. Not only Solidity, you also have other programming languages which you can be able to use. Okay, let me say in this case, you can use Julia. Okay, you can use Triple L, you can use Serpent, right? So what I'm saying is not only Solidity programming language, you can use Julia, you can use Triple L, you can use Serpent, you can use Whisper. Okay, so like this, there are so many programming languages which are available. Now the point is, it's up to you which one you use it. Then you may ask me, then why only Solidity when these many are there? The reason is these programming languages are low level programming languages. Except Solidity, which is a high level programming language, rest of them are low level programming language, due to which industries don't prefer these languages, which I have kept here, Julia, Triple L, Serpent and all. And industry has given a wide demand to Solidity, due to which, as we will also be getting to know what industries are doing, where industries are focused on. So even we are also learning about Solidity. Okay, so that is the reason, even though there are so many programming languages, all of them come next to Solidity. But first stands with Solidity. Okay, because that is something which will give us the capability to create the smart contracts appropriately and can be able to put that in the backend, and that is ultimately will get deployed into the blockchain. So that is one core area which we all should be able to consider with regards to Solidity. Okay. So that's one of the important point what we all should be able to consider. So smart contracts are developed using Solidity because it is a high level programming language and it is in greater demand. So tomorrow, if anyone asks you the question that even though there are so many programming languages, why still Solidity is preferred? The answer is we are using Solidity because it is a high level programming language when compared to other programming languages. And on top of that, industry also prefers to use Solidity, due to which all our smart contracts majorly will be available using Solidity programming language. Okay. So this is the understanding which you all should actually be able to maintain. Okay. So this is the important point. And at the other end, if you see Bitcoin script, right? So this is used in the Bitcoin software. Okay, where I don't want to go into the details of it because we are not doing any Bitcoin part over here. But Bitcoin script generally is used in the Bitcoin software. Okay, so now this is an interesting part. Okay, now you know that as per my understanding, whatever I have provided to y'all, you got to know one thing, that smart contract is written using what? Solidity programming language. Okay, see, one thing all of you should understand. Now when I want to develop something, forget about blockchain and everything. Okay, let us say I want to develop an application, right? I want to develop the application, any application, up to you, healthcare, energy sector, agriculture, whatever application you want to develop, that is totally up to you. Now, when I want to develop an application, let us say, first of all, I should be able to have an understanding what is that I need to develop, what is my business requirement, okay, what is that is required, what is that finally I'm trying to achieve, what will be the vision of my application, what is that I have to consider. Like without knowing these things, right, it will become irrelevant for you to code. Okay, if you don't know any information, if you exactly are not aware of any of the requirements, then what is the point of you going and then trying to develop the application? So if you want to develop an application, first of all, you should know the requirements, you should do the analysis, you should be ready with everything about in and out of that particular application. Then you get started with developing it, because by the time you have a clarity and you can develop the code also in such a way when you know everything prior to the development. That will be easier for all of you to understand and make the things go in a right direction. Some people, not some, I would say majority of the people, what do they think? Find that I know what has to be done, a little bit knowledge about it. They will get started with directly the coding. And then the problem will be your code will be stuck in between because you don't have a lot of points. While you write the code, you'll get to know, oh, what is the scenario which I have to take here? What is the other scenario? Oh, what is the other scenario which is interrelated to it? Everywhere there will be a question mark. And that will actually lead us not to complete the project appropriately. So better we take some time, invest whatever time is required for requirement, analysis, understanding it appropriately, and then we should be able to proceed. Otherwise, we should not be able to go ahead, whatever may be the scenario. Okay. So now what I'm trying to say here is smart contract, when I want to go and develop, first of all, this is one of the very, very important steps which we should be able to consider. The very first thing, starting from bottom, okay, don't see from the top, you have to see from the bottom. The numbers are lined from bottom, okay. First, I want to understand the business problem. First of all, see, I may know blockchain, I may be expert of the blockchain also, but without knowing the problem, what is that you're going to do? Let me say there is an application which is already running fine, running smooth, no problems. There you don't need to use blockchain. So the point to be noted is, as I know blockchain, it doesn't mean that everywhere I go and try to fit it. That's not the right approach. The approach should be in such a way, when there is a challenge, when there is a business opportunity, think about using this technology. And if this technology is really gonna give a satisfying result, then go and adopt it. Otherwise, don't adopt it. Okay, I'm not saying that in the world, everywhere you go and try to fit in all the domains. Wherever it is applicable, you have to do it over there. Due to which I'm saying the very first point to all of you here is, first understand the business problem. Understand what is that the problem is, and then try to act accordingly. Okay, first of all, you should know every time whenever you develop a smart contract, I should have a clarity that what is the business problem occurring. So understand that. Then the second point in developing a smart contract, once you understand the business problem, then go and define the network. Okay. So in this smart contract, who all should be in the network? Who all should be the participants? Okay, then you are going to say how many involved parties are there. And then the prerequisite for your smart contract you have to pass, when to trigger your smart contract. And if your smart contract gets triggered successfully, what business logic it should apply. So now I know that if I explain like this, some of you may get it, some of you may not get the proper understanding. So what I will do, I will give you an example. I'll take a case study. I'll give you a case study of a decentralized application. Okay. So then you will be able to identify these. So here, if you see, I'm just taking a small example over here. Let's take, I am talking about the loan management system. Okay. This is a loan management decentralized application, a DApp. Okay. So basically what happens is, whatever the things which we considered over here. What did I say? First, you should know the business problem. Let's see what is the problem. See, there is a bank which is paying, which is issuing the loan to a person called as a Sid. And then Sid is taking the loan from the bank, and for which both of them, the bank and Sid, they mutually have an agreement being created among them. Now, this agreement which is created, or a contract between both of them, is a manual papers, right? I'm talking about a traditional process where you have a lot of paperwork, and within that paperwork, everything will be noted. And then we will be able to sign that, and the document is said to be drafted. Now, the problem here is, the bank, in the sense, what it is trying to do is, it's always following up with Sid, trying to ensure that the payment is happening to the bank's loan account. Right? This is the problem. Now, let me say what happens in this case. Now, Sid and bank, they want to make the system automated. So bank says, I don't want the headache every time I go to sit and ask and then try to pay the payment. Let's make sure that whatever the SID has taken as a loan, that SID should be able to pay that in the form of a EMI, and then the remaining balance, if whatever is there, like payment should be done on a monthly basis, okay? And it should not stop anywhere. I want to make the process such efficient where everything can be planned appropriately. So first of all, this is the idea which we should be able to consider. Now, what did I say? Next point here, you have to define your network. So network means what? Here we are talking about the loan management. Loan management belongs to which network? It belongs to banking network. It is nowhere related to healthcare, energy sector, or any other sectors. Okay, that means what I'm saying is network should always refer to the domain which you are working on. So if my domain is loan management, then it is towards the banking system it will work. If I'm creating anything related to healthcare, then it will be able to be towards the healthcare area. So network will always depends on the domain what you are trying to target. When I'm targeting the loan management system, my network will be the entire banking system. So if you see here in the network, I have the person who is taking the loan, SBI, other banks like ICICI, HDFC, and then other banks, whatever which is being there. And then along with that, the regulatory body, that is RBI. In the network, you can have all of these people being available in the network. That is what is the network basically called as. And then the parties. Now, involved parties. See, in the network, you can have everyone. Network means you can have all the banks, regulatory body, the people who have taken the loan, everyone can be a part of the network. But coming to involved parties here means who all are involved over here. If you see, Sid who is taking the loan and then the bank who is issuing the loan, these are the only two involved parties in the process. So obviously the involved parties in this case are actually one is your SID and another one is your bank, where they are being involved and then they are able to go ahead, okay, and then try to capture everything appropriately. Even though in the network there may be a lot of people, but in the involved parties are those who are actually involved with the process. Now, the prerequisite for your smart contract. What is the prerequisite you want to give it for your smart contract? Okay, your smart contract prerequisite is your network wants to access the calendar and time. Why? I'll let you know. See. Now, you all were being taught that 30 or 31 days, if it is completed, a month is said to be done. And then the time, we are all aware of it. And we are all knowing that 30 or 31 days is completed, a month is said to be done. Because we are being taught. How do your smart contract knows that? See, until and unless you don't feed it to your smart contract will not assume something and it will do. You have to explicitly pass the parameters so that your smart contract can work in a way however you are expecting. So when I say my smart contract should take the money from SID's account and it should pay to the bank loan account, then your smart contract should know, right, when it should go to SID's account and take that money and put it into the bank's loan account. For that, your smart contract should have some prerequisites. Your smart contract cannot go every day and it will take the money. Then SID will come and try to complain. So we are looking for the possibility that where as a prerequisite, I want to send to my smart contract the calendar and time axis, so that my smart contract will understand that when it should trigger. That is the reason the fifth point is trigger. So here I am mentioning that whenever there is a change in the calendar month, either 30 or either 28 or either 31 days, once it is done, once the change in the calendar month is set to be done, immediately you will see a trigger is going to happen. Okay, if you observe in this case, when there is a change in the calendar month, immediately a trigger is going to happen. Now, how will my smart contract know what is a calendar? Because in the fourth point, you have given that as a prerequisite, that my network should need access to calendar and time. That is very clear. That means I've given calendar and time as a prerequisite, where whenever there is a change in the calendar month, there will be a trigger happening. So when the trigger happens, automatically the money will be taken away from the SID accounts to the bank's loan account. So the logic, if you see, right, the business logic, as long as your outstanding loan is greater than 0, okay, as long as your outstanding loan, whatever is there, right, as long as it is greater than 0, okay, so you will see that this smart contract will work automatically. Okay, the moment your outstanding loan becomes equal to 0, your smart contract purpose is said to be served. It is done. The moment your outstanding loan becomes equal to 0, that means you don't have any loan to be paid, right? Then the smart contract purpose is said to be done. This is how a smart contract is developed within your decentralized application. You have to take out all these possible scenarios, understand the requirement, then you should be able to think of writing the code. Otherwise, you cannot be able to proceed further. Without answering these questions, like what is the business problem? Okay, in the network, who all should be present? Who should be the involved parties? What should be the prerequisites which you should pass to your smart contract so that it can work accordingly for you? How to trigger the event? And finally, when the event is triggered, how will the business logic be implemented? These are the points, first of all, we should be able to consider. Now, in order to get a better understanding, I have given you one example being provided over here using the loan management system, where I made you understand the business problem is the bank wants to get rid of following up with SID. Instead, smart contract will take that role, take the payment from SID, and it will issue to the bank loan account. So that is the reason involved parties in the network, you may have all your banks, regulatory bodies, and everything. Okay. And then the prerequisite here is your network should need access to calendar and time. Otherwise, your smart contract will not understand when to trigger so that we will be able to take that money from SID's account and transfer it to the bank account. So prerequisite here is calendar and time. Whenever there is a change in the calendar month, a trigger will happen, and then automatically the money will be taken from SID to the bank loan account. Okay, once the moment your outstanding loan, which will become equal to 0, outstanding loan becomes equal to 0, right? That means you are done. Your smart contract purpose is said to be served, and you don't require anything else apart from it. This is the understanding which you all should be having with regards to how to design a smart contract, which is a part of your decentralized application. Okay, this understanding all of you should be able to maintain it. Okay, hope that all of you are getting the clarity that these are the ways in which we should be able to do. Otherwise, there is no point in creating a decentralized application at all. Okay, so this clarity we all should be able to be achieved. Okay, and these are some of the rules which you should be able to understand. Now, there may be a question from you. Okay, like you may say me, this may also happen traditionally, right? Yes, it can happen. And indeed, it is happening also, right? Now, what is that the smart contract is trying to do? Again, I'll come back to same concept which I explained at the start of the session. What did I say there? I made it very clear that this smart contract is a part of a decentralized application. And this decentralized application will sit inside the blockchain. As it is sitting inside the blockchain, it becomes safe and secure so that nobody can actually be able to tamper the records. That means neither SID can blame it on the bank saying that SID is paying some like every time EMIs, but bank is denying that SID is not paying it. Or bank has increased the interest rate on their own, and then they have increased the principal amount, and they are doing whatever they want. They will be caught in the process. So overall in the process, what happens is everything gets deployed into the blockchain. Okay, So nobody can tamper the record because of its immutability property. And even if anyone wishes to do that, okay, that feasibility is not provided to them. In that way, we are enhancing the transparency in the loan management system. So already this is being done by one of the banks successfully, that is BNB Paribas Bank. Okay, so this bank has already implemented everything. But yeah, just giving you an example. So this is the case study with regards to decentralized application. The very first one I've given you as an example, and then the points what you all should be able to consider. So till now, any questions? Okay, let me go and have a look into the chat box. Yeah, I will explain healthcare part. Okay, no worries. Till we are only in one area only. I will give you almost like 6 or 7 areas, Shanu. Okay, so no worries. Just now we got started and we still have around 59 minutes left with us, right? So I will walk you through other areas also. Okay, in that healthcare will also be present for you. Okay. Hey, nice. Thank you so much. Hey, is my voice audible clear, right? I'm getting a saying that.
Yes,
no,
your voice is
audible.
perfectly audible.
Okay, sure. Thank you for the confirmation. Maybe Abhishek, just check it out from your end, because nobody is actually facing that issue. Okay. Thank you for the confirmation. Okay, ECS or auto payment of insurance. Yeah, they all come under smart contract only. Okay, they all are come under smart contract, which you can be able to use it. Prasad. Okay, so I don't see any more other questions. Yeah, and thank you so much. If you are getting it, that's really nice. Okay, perfect. So I don't see any questions. And meanwhile, like this, I'll come into the chat box and I will have a look into any of the questions and then I'll answer it accordingly. But as of now, I see I answered all the questions. But if there is any going forward, put it in the chat box and leave it, and I'll come back and I'll try to answer those to you all. Okay. So moving little bit further over here, now comes the decentralized application. Okay, that is nothing but in short a DApp. Okay. So now what did I say? DApp means it will have a backend and it will have a front end. Front end for the time being, you ignore it, because that is a topic which is exclusively related to not to blockchain. Those are like front end tools, front end work, everything will be separate, where you can learn those things on your own, either Angular, React, or Flutter, and all of them. Now, Sami, till now you have understood whatever I explained to you, right? Let me put a question to all of you and see how many of you can answer it. Okay. So the question is, in the DApp over here, right, which is a decentralized application, can you be able to say me what is the backend? What will be the backend in a DApp? In a decentralized application, what is the backend? What will that be there in the backend actually? Think and give me the answer. I already have given the answer in the previous discussions. Only thing is you just need to recollect it. In a decentralized application, what is the backend? And I request all of you to answer. Doesn't matter even if it is right or wrong. Okay, but I'm here to guide you all. But feel free to put your answer is what I want to suggest to you all. Okay, I see a mix of answers coming up. Let me see. Blockchain network with smart contract. Okay, Solidity, Ethereum, coding, Node, Ethereum. Okay, Manu, as I said, right? See, the centralized system means your bank will have everything present with them. They can manipulate the data, right? They can be able to put a higher interest rate. They can be able to take some extra charges. You cannot be able to get that level of transparency, Manu. So what we are doing over here, we are making the system decentralized so that everyone will be accountable what exactly is happening. And on top of that, when this smart contract will be present into the blockchain, nobody can be able to tamper the data because of the immutability property. That is a significant advantage which we are getting when we are trying to deploy into a decentralized application when compared to a traditional application which works in a centralized model. That's the point, Manu. Healthcare, as I said, I'll take it up, Kishore Babu, not this point of time. Give me around 5 minutes of time. We'll go into that area. And then rest, I see all the answers. Yes, Prasad, that is right. In order to write the Solidity code, you need to first of all get a requirement understanding so that you can be able to create the ideas, and then you can be able to get started with writing the code specifically. See, most of you, whosoever have answered it, right? All of you are absolutely right. 100% right, I would say. See, the point is to make it very simple. The people who said Ethereum, I agree, because on top of Ethereum only the DApp is going to work. The people who said code, I want to make them little bit clear that code means what? You know that it is Solidity. So in the back end, you are going to have Solidity code available. Okay. And the people who said smart contract, that is also absolutely right. Okay, in the backend, you are going to have your smart contract plus your Solidity code. Okay, both of them are same only. Don't think that they are different. They are same. Okay, that is what will be there. And then your blockchain. This is at the backend you are going to have it. And then front end is normally, it's like just having some good user interface. Now, if you want to see any application, let me just give you some examples. Like, let us say if this works, state of the DApps storage. Okay, see it. Now the decentralized application. This works on top of Ethereum platform. If you observe here, this works on top of the Ethereum platform where you have a user interface, and at the back end, everything is written using the Solidity code. And this is been deployed directly on top of Ethereum blockchain. Okay. Now, like this, if you see, okay, if you want to refer it, like you can say top 10 DApps. Okay. Went to Eclipse just a minute. You can just be able to say top 10 DApps. Okay. So if you see here top blockchain DApps, it will be able to redirect you, and then it will give you so many options available. See, these are some of the really good decentralized applications being available for us. Like if you are interested, you can always be able to go and see there are different sections for gambling, exchanges, collectibles, marketplace, social, other areas, DeFi, decentralized finance, for games. Like this, everything is being segregated. Now, let me say if I click on any of the decentralized application. Okay, see, okay, you can, this is one of the decentralized application which is exclusively related to gaming. Okay, which is being created on top of the blockchain platform, and it is being deployed on top of the blockchain directly. And if I again go back, okay, let me go here and Stargate. Like you can be able to go ahead, see, open the DApp. Let me open the application. Open DApp means open the decentralized application. See, Stargate. Okay, this is another one which is a decentralized application. Okay, where it actually acts as a wallet and you can be able to utilize it. So what I'm saying you here is that this is already been set up in the market appropriately. And if you observe over here, there are so many decentralized applications which are currently being available for us. Okay, so these are all the decentralized applications directly being deployed on top of the blockchain platform. And if you see here towards the right hand side, right, the loss, the profit, they are being present currently in the, like as an entity, you know about the shares of the organization, right? Even they also, the decentralized application also have their own shares. Okay, So all of these shades are also being available in the market, and for which if people are interested to purchase, it will be in the profit. If people are not much interested, you will be able to see a loss. Like that is again a different story. But what I'm saying is the decentralized applications are being originated and they are being available in the market. And you can be able to use it whenever you require it. These are the top decentralized applications which are being available using the blockchain technology, and especially the DApp concept. Just want to give you this clarity so that if at any point of time, if all of you want to refer, right, it would be much easier for you to come over here and have a look into all the applications which are being available for us. Okay, so this is something which we should be able to know with regards to DApps. Like in future, if you want to come and try to explore more about it, and if you want to take this journey a little bit further, these parts will be very much helpful for you in the long run. Okay, just as the topic has come up, so just want to give you that high level overview of how it looks. Okay, basically that's a DApp, a decentralized application. Okay, in the back end, you know that there will be a Solidity code. Front end is nothing but it is just a user interface or a user experience. You can be able to make it up, and then your blockchain will also be available in the back end only. That's how we can be able to create a appropriate decentralized applications. Okay, so this is the understanding which we all should actually be able to maintain. Okay, and EVM, why we require it is because, see, at the end of the day, whatever the Solidity code you are going to write, that gets deployed on top of your EVM. Okay, let me say till now, Solidity code is used for what? It is used for creating your smart contracts, right? That is what we know till now. Okay, now this Solidity code, when you write and when you deploy it, right, that where will you be able to deploy this? That gets deployed on top of your EVM. If you know about JVM, Java Virtual Machine, right, same like that only, you have your EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine, where you will write your Solidity code, and that Solidity code ultimately will be deployed on top of your EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine. This Ethereum Virtual Machine will make sure that whatever the smart contract we have written, that gets deployed on top of the blockchain. So when I say blockchain, which blockchain specifically? Ethereum blockchain. Okay, so your Ethereum virtual machine plays a very vital role where it takes your Solidity code, right, whatever the Solidity code is available for you. Okay, so that Solidity code will be taken into consideration and it gets finally deployed on top of your EVM, which we call it as specifically Ethereum virtual machine. And this will help us to make sure that the code is sitting on top of Ethereum blockchain. Now, let me say a scenario. Let us say if this EVM is not there, then ultimately your Solidity code cannot be able to sit on top of Ethereum blockchain. So indeed, here your EVM, that is your Ethereum virtual machine, is actually playing a very vital role in making the Solidity code to sit appropriately on top of Ethereum blockchain or your smart contract. Otherwise, they cannot be able to sit on top of Ethereum blockchain. That is the reason why EVM is having a lot of importance in the blockchain, because without this, you cannot make your smart contract to be able to go and sit on top of Ethereum blockchain. Okay, so this understanding is what we all should actually be able to maintain. Okay, hope that all of you have got a clarity. So, and then the gas concept. Okay, hopefully, I think many of you know what is a gas concept. Okay, generally, the gas concept means now you are writing a smart contract that is using Solidity language. Right? Now, you take any programming language, if you are aware of, let me say C, it may be Python, C++, Java, C#. You take any programming language. When you deploy that, right, when you deploy that code, what is going to happen? You can deploy that code and you're done with it, right? Have you ever been charged some money just because you're deploying the code? Obviously, as far as I know, nobody would have been charged, saying that you need to pay some amount of money to deploy either Java or either, let me say, C# or a C or a C++ or a Python, any code it may be. Whereas Solidity is quite contrasting when compared to other programming languages which are available for us. Like, for example, let me say, Solidity, if you want to deploy your smart contract into the Ethereum blockchain, then you have to pay some amount of gas. Otherwise, you are not allowed to deploy your smart contract into the blockchain. Okay, you will not be allowed to deploy whatever smart contract you have into the blockchain, whatever may be the scenario. So the point to be noted here is, gas means what? See, gas is nothing but, just take it in such a way, those are ethers only. That means whenever, let us say, you want to transfer some amount of money to some other person, then in the crypto world, you are going to pay some transaction fee. Here, when you want to deploy your code, you are going to pay some amount of ethers, for which we are naming it as a gas. Now, I know immediately you will ask me a question, why don't you say ether directly, then why to put a gas and then gas conversion to ether, why we need? I'll answer that. So first of all, the understanding here, what we all should be able to consider is, okay, to put it very simple in this case, first of all, Solidity smart contract, why did they put this gas concept over here? The reason is, if anybody is writing the Solidity code, they should write an efficient code. They should be able to write an efficient code. They cannot write whatever they want to do. Because if you are writing whatever you wish, you are duplicating same things again and again, then you are going to pay more amount of ethers. So community, the Ethereum community thought that why don't I restrict people in terms of asking them to pay more ethers if they are doing a lot of complex parameters or if they are just duplicating it. So automatically the size of the code will increase, or the size of the smart contract will increase, and your gas fee or your ethers is directly dependent on your size of the smart contract. If the size of the smart contract is more, then you need to pay more amount of gas fee. If the size of the smart contract is less, then you need to pay less gas fee. And your size of the contract is always dependent on operations, whatever you are using. Okay, the let me say if condition, the let me say that like while, if, do while, switch, okay, for loop. These are very complex operators which should actually try to get rid of all of those things to be used. Okay, so at the end of the day, that is the reason this has actually come up, to increase the efficiency. And one more thing is, if somebody runs an infinitely, which will actually disturb the entire system, for them also the gas will stop and say that you are not allowed to do this operation, and we will not be able to take it further. So if you are writing a genuine code and an appropriate and an efficient code, and when you try to deploy it, you will be asked a very less amount of ethers to be deducted. See, with 0 ethers, you cannot be able to deduct, like you cannot be able to deploy your code. You need to have minimum ethers to go ahead and try to deploy your smart contract. Okay, otherwise you cannot be able to proceed further. Then the question is, why don't you put ethers? Why only gas? I'll say you. The point here is, let me say today I started writing the code. Today one ether value is 100 rupees, let us assume. After 5 days, I completed my entire code and I want to deploy it. After 5 days, the ether value has become, let us say, 400. That means on my day 1 to day 5, 4 times the value has increased. So now you will not deploy. The reason is, psychologically you will think that it got increased 4 times, let the value go down so that I can pay less amount of gas fee, which is nothing but ethers only. Okay, so that I will waste my time, even though my code is written, but still I am not gaining that efficiency because I'm not deploying it. I'm just waiting for the value to go down. So psychologically, it will impact the developers. If the ether is the front face, if people are going to get to know ether value directly, okay, then that is going to impact. right? That is going to impact severely, due to which what we are trying to do over here, okay, we are trying to bring in the gas concept. That is, we in the sense community has brought in the gas concept, saying that people don't focus on ether. Indeed, they focus on the development of the code. When they deploy it, based on the size of the smart contract, ethers will be deducted. If the size of the smart contract is more, then more ethers will be deducted. If the size of the smart contract is less, you are going to pay less amount of fee. It all depends on situation, like how the gas would actually be deducted. That is the understanding which we all should actually be able to maintain it. Okay, so maybe some of you are already familiar with, but some of you may not be familiar with it. But at the end of the day, what all of you should consider is, when I write a Solidity code and if I want to deploy the same, then you are going to pay more amount of gas fee, provided if the size of the smart contract is more. If the size of the smart contract is less, you are going to pay less amount of gas fee. Gas is nothing but ethers. Why we didn't put directly ethers is psychologically the developers will be impacted, due to which we have kept the gas, and that gas will internally convert into ether based on the size of your smart contract. And the size of your smart contract is always dependent on what operations you are using in your program. But some operations like for loop, while, do while, if condition, like Boolean condition, if you use something like this, then immediately the size of the code will increase, which in return will allow you to burden, where you need to pay a little bit of more ethers when you do those type of operations. So that is some sort of an understanding which you all should be able to maintain with regards to gas concept in the Solidity. These are all are the DApp concepts only, because if you want to develop a DApp, or if you want to create a DApp on your own without knowing these things, which is actually the core part of the decentralized application, then it will not make any sense for you all to develop anything within it. So that is the reason why these are the important aspects which you all should actually be aware of. Some people will get confused over here. I want to break that confusion. You know what is the confusion? Many people think, let me say, I have written 500 lines of code. They assume based on the number of lines, the gas will be deducted. No, that is never going to happen. Okay, you should never think based on how many lines you utilized. You should always think based on the size of the code, size of the smart contract, which is actually coming up, right? Based on that only the value is being deducted, not on the how many lines you have been consumed. Okay, there is no such criteria being involved over here. Okay, that point you all should be able to understand with regards to gas part. Okay. So, and you know this Web 1.0, which was in the early 2000s. Okay, in the early 2000s it used to be, and this is how the websites used to look like. Okay, where it was, and it was very new, right? Even the .com was also very new at that time. And if you see, this is how it were been. And now coming to second generation of the web, see how attractive everything has become. Okay, so slowly what happened is, in second generation of the web, which is currently we are right now, is in Web 2.0, where you see websites are little dynamic and things have changed. Coming to Web 1.0 to Web 2.0, drastically many things have changed. But at the end of the day, Web 2.0, whatever is available, right, that is still centralized. Okay, at the end of the day, this is still centralized only. Okay, but whereas Web 3.0, which is your decentralized application. Okay, everything here is decentralized. No single owner. Everything is distributed, and you will be the right owner for all of this. Okay, so if you see in this case, first generation of the web, second generation of the web, and then the third generation of the web. Okay, so in the Web 1.0, everything is centralized over here, where you have one single central server and people used to go and try to access. In the web 2.0, again, you have a one single central server where people will be able to go and try to access it. That means somebody or the other is owning this central server. In the front end, if you see, right, yeah, definitely there is a drastic improvement. The websites became more attractive and it is looking more nice, but at the back end, still it is the same. There is one single central server, somebody is owning it, and then they have the full control about it, and everyone has to follow their commands only. You cannot be able to do the things on your own. Whereas in the third generation of the web, if you see the third generation of the web over here, what you should consider is the front end is, I kept the reason is, the front end is something like how you want to make the websites attractive, that's up to you. But the third generation of the web is coming with all the dynamics, okay, like virtual reality, augmented reality, like these concepts, like where you will really feel, let me say, if you open an e-commerce application, you will really feel that you are really in a shopping mall and you're trying to do it. That's the look and feel which the third generation of the web is looking for, and we want to go ahead and try to utilize it. Okay, so this is an important understanding which we all should be able to get it. Coming to third generation of the web. In this third generation of the web, everything is distributed and decentralized. Okay, if you see the third generation of the web here, all of them are said to be distributed and decentralized, no single owner. Everyone are their own respective owners and they can be able to utilize the things in whatever way they want it. Okay, this is the way in which they can be able to handle it. So this is the third generation of the web where your decentralized application will actually fit. Okay, so these are the topics which I first want to give a clarity. And now I will take you, already one application we understood, that is a loan management process. Okay, and then the next 20 to 25 minutes, I will only take exclusively on applications like an healthcare application, agriculture sector, and then the like we will see small things like a stock trading. Okay, so these parts I'm gonna give you some clarity. So do let me know till now any questions, anything which you have in your mind. You can please feel free to ask me, so that once your questions are resolved, then I will directly take you to the applications, and if there are any questions with regards to that, I will be able to handle it. Okay, let me see. Yeah, gas is only applicable for Ether only. Okay, gas is applicable only for Ether, not for other applications of the blockchain. Okay, is it like parking charges in a gas cost? Yes, Prasad, you can also take it in that way. That is absolutely right. Okay, where you will be paying the gas cost. But remember one thing, like whenever you are going to deploy the code, right, then only you are going to pay the gas fee. Until then, you don't need to pay the gas fee. Okay, that is the understanding which you all should be able to have with regards to it. Okay, so what I'm saying is, let me say you developed a code, but you did not deploy. Okay, so if you didn't deploy, then you don't need to go ahead and then try to pay any gas fee. Okay, so that is the point which I'm trying to let you all know. Until and unless you don't deploy, okay, you will not be asked to pay any gas fee. That is the consideration which you all should be able to be aware of. Okay, so that is one point which I just want to make sure that you are able to get to know with regards to it. Okay, what is that? The next question. Let me have a look into it. The Solidity is used to write smart. No, Solidity is used only in the Ethereum. That's it. Okay. Ether is also one crypto. Yeah, Ether is a cryptocurrency. Agreed. Okay. Ether is also a cryptocurrency, but you cannot be able to go ahead and try to let me say like how Bitcoin works. In the same way, you can make your Ether also. Okay. Next, one by one, how to improve scalability. In order to improve the scalability, already Ethereum is working on it, Nitu. Like you see that blockchain has come up with right now proof of stake, POS consensus protocol, which is a proof of stake. It used to use proof of work. So slowly they're improving the scalability. And in order to know more details about it, right, you can go with a layer 2 blockchain. Okay, layer 2 blockchain will actually give you a good idea, which Ethereum itself is coming up to improve the scalability. In order to connect your smart contract to the front end, right, you need to connect it through like Web3. Okay, so Web3 will play a vital role in the DApp to make sure that you connect your smart contract to the front end part. The answer is Web3. If you're doing some experiments to evaluate the working of smart contract, yes. See, if you are experimenting anything, right, then also you need to use gas. But the only thing is you have to make sure that you're using a testnet, because there are so many test networks also been available for us where you can get some test ethers and you can be able to deploy that in the testing environment and you can use the gas. But if you go to the main network or in the production network, then you need to have the real ethers. Only difference is if you want to do it in a test network, you will have the test ethers. If you want to do it in the main network, then you need to purchase the real ethers where it will be consumed in the form of a gas and it will deploy your smart contract. Okay, see, triggering of smart contract is nothing but, let me say you have deployed it. The moment once the deployment is done, that is the only fee which you're gonna pay it. Okay, you're not gonna pay anything more than that. Okay, so I can explain EVM in short or one line. Yeah, let me put it up over here. Okay, let me in my whiteboard. Okay, I'll try to put it up. The people who said EVM and gas, I'll try to quickly complete off that concept in a minute or two, and then we will go to some applications of DApp, and then if there are any more questions, I'll take it up at the end. So meanwhile, I'll just try to answer those two questions which are pending in the chat box. See, let me go ahead. Yeah, so what I'm saying here is understand it carefully. Okay, now you have a smart contract, right? Now this smart contract is written using what language? Solidity programming language, right? Using this, you have developed your smart contract. Now this has to get deployed where? On top of Ethereum blockchain. Then only there is a purpose for it. Otherwise, there is no purpose, right? So this smart contract, if it needs to get deployed on Ethereum blockchain, so how this phenomena is going to happen? For this phenomena to occur, your EVM, Ethereum virtual machine, will make sure that whatever smart contract you are going to deploy, this smart contract will be deployed on top of your EVM. This EVM will help us to deploy the smart contract in the Ethereum blockchain. So Ethereum virtual machine's main area here is your smart contract will be deployed on top of EVM, and EVM responsibility is to take that smart contract and deploy it into the Ethereum blockchain. That is where EVM is actually gonna fit, and it's gonna make sure that everything is deployed into the Ethereum blockchain without any issues. That is the significance of the Ethereum virtual machine. In one line, Ethereum virtual machines is going to deploy the Solidity code into the Ethereum blockchain directly. Okay, coming to the gas concept. Gas here is nothing but, let us take a fuel, okay, or fuel in your vehicle. For example, now you want to go to your friend's house. Your friend is situated at 10 kilometers. So for which, what will be your plan? Your plan is you need to have a fuel or a petrol in your vehicle that you can accommodate to go to 10 kilometers where your friend is situated and another 10 kilometers where you're going to come back. And you're not going to put a fuel for only 20 kilometers, right? Because if there is any emergency, you will also put some more extra fuel. So without the fuel, can you be able to go? Definitely you cannot go if you have a vehicle on your own, right? So here the point is, when you are developing a code, right? When you're developing a code, at the end, if you don't deploy, that will not make any sense. So you need to deploy that code. So when you deploy that code, what is going to happen is gas like a fuel, okay, will be charged for whatever the deployment you are doing. Now the deployment is dependent on what? Based on the size of the smart contract. Whatever the size of the smart contract is there, based on the size of the smart contract, the gas fee will be deducted. The moment the gas fee is set to be deducted, right? That means you are allowed to go ahead and do the changes. And when will the gas fee be deducted? The moment you deploy your contract. See, gas fee is nothing, but there is no point in confusion over here. The thing is, gas is nothing but if you want to write a code, especially in Solidity, I'm talking only on Solidity, not anything else, okay? And that too only in Ethereum only. So if you want to deploy the smart contract, you just need to pay some amount of ethers. Okay, directly you're not putting ether, so you're calling it as a gas, and then the gas gets converted into ether. And how the ethers will be deducted based on the size of the code. If the size of the code is more, you will pay more ethers. If the code is less, you're going to pay less ethers at the end of the day. That is the understanding which you should be able to do. How will you increase the size of the code if you are using the complex operators like if condition, while, do while, and all of those things? If you are using the normal standards and without writing a very complicated code, then you are going to see that the size of the contract will be less and you will automatically pay less amount of ethers. That's it. That is as simple as that is what you all should actually be able to consider. Nothing more than that. Okay, that is the clarity which you all should actually be able to maintain with regards to this. Got it? The people who said me to explain EVM and gas in one line. Okay, I hope you have got this part. Okay. So now taking you back, I'll come back to the remaining questions if there are any, but I know that majority of them are done. But still, if there is any, I'll come back again to it. Okay. So now coming to healthcare sector. Now, in the healthcare sector, what we are trying to target here is, see, the government wants to ensure that all the unidentified victims who are there, right, to give a proper protection to them. Okay, so if you see here, unidentified victims. So basically what happens there is, like, let me say if there is any natural calamity or any disaster has happened, and we want to give a proper treatment for all of those unidentified victims in the process, right? So what we want to do here in this case is we want to bring in this technology and try to make sure that in the network, if you remember the points which we already have learned, right? So in this case, if you see the hospitals, the Aadhaar department, and then the insurance company, so we can affiliate all of them into one particular network. And within this network, okay, so you can bring in some involved parties. Like here in this case, involved parties would be like the patient who is actually taking that particular treatment, and in which hospital he or she has been admitted to, and then your Aadhaar department, and then the person is having any if health insurance and all of those, that insurance companies would also be associated with it. So in this case, if you see the involved parties, right, here involved parties means the persons who are being involved with it, and the network comprises of all your hospitals, Aadhaar department, and insurance companies. See, the main target is what over here. Let me say if somebody is being like felt like, let us say there is let us say there is a natural calamity like an earthquake, or maybe like there's a fire. So immediately you're going to take those persons and admit them to the nearby hospitals, right? You're not going to ask their identity, right, at that point of time. And then some of them may have a very minor injuries, and some of them may have really major injuries. I'm talking about the major injuries who are actually suffering, right? Like they may not be in a position to reveal their identity. For which what you can do is you can take the person's identity, the fingerprint, who will take the Aadhaar department. They will match in their database and they will try to find out who are their relatives or their family members. So the government will give a notification, that's Aadhaar body, And then they will also look if this person is having any insurance company, and accordingly they'll notify them, and then the money will be credited to the hospital, and then that person can undergo a major surgery without any issues. So now all of these processes, they can make it very transparent by putting it in a smart contract, so that this will be deployed at the end of the day into the blockchain. So basically, when the patients are being admitted from road accidents or any fire hazards, or if they are being coming out with any of the natural calamities, so immediately you can be able to admit them to the nearby hospital. So the logic over here, if you see, the patient's biometric information will be captured, and then we will be able to identify them. Okay. So, and then we will get to know their identity, and if there is any major thing which has to go through, we will be able to take care of that part. And then we will make sure that all of them are getting a proper treatment at the end of the day in a transparent way. Tomorrow, nobody can blame in the process, because in the network, if you see, like let us say hospital can play a blame game. They can just try to manipulate the cost of the, let me say, the operation and all of the surgery and everything. That cannot be done because smart contract will be there in the blockchain. Aadhaar department cannot manipulate any identity details. Insurance companies cannot be able to manipulate and say that this person does not have insurance, only this much we will be able to allocate, not anything more than this. So these type of manipulations, we are putting a check over here by putting everything in the smart contract and deploying it into the blockchain, so that nobody can be able to tamper the records at the end of the day, is what we are trying to preserve over here with regards to health sector, so that nobody can be able to tamper even if they wish to do it. That is how we are trying to preserve everything into the healthcare sector. This is one area in the health sector where Niti Aayog is working on. That is, National Institution of Transforming the India is already working on to this particular area. Another area in the health sector is the patient management system. When I say patient management system, right, this is about the patient records. We want to make sure that patient records should not be controlled by the hospital. Patient records should be controlled by the patient itself, so that we are not giving the entire authority to the hospital. That is at the still POC level. We have not come to, let me say, a proper project is not yet implemented, but there is a POCs going on, like how we can make sure that the patients are accountable to their health data rather than the hospitals being accountable. The reason is hospitals are not sharing the full data. Hospitals are manipulating the price cost. Third thing is hospitals are selling those data to research laboratories. So we want to put a check to these three challenges, for which we are working on a POC, to make sure that how we can eradicate these problems and how we can make sure that it is not going to the wrong hands, and we are trying to preserve everything at the end of the day. Okay, so this is something which we all should be able to consider. Now, in the healthcare sector only, another area is the medicines, the drug traceability. Sometimes what happens is, in a pharmaceutical sector, when you want to go and try to identify, like, what is its benefit, and let me say, if I'm taking a medicine, if it is a right type of a medicine or not, whether if it is a fake medicine, okay, whether it is a proper medicine. So you need to know about those details. Otherwise, you'll never get to know the genuinity of the medicine, because you're not taking free, right? You're paying the money, and you should have every right to take the right type of a medicine. Sometimes we are taking the medicine which are being banned elsewhere. Sometimes we take the medicines where the chemical, like where the chemical composition which is being added into it is not appropriate. So these type of details, at the end of the day, the user is not aware of it. So what we want to do here is, already there is a company called as the Pharma Trust. Okay, there is a company called as a Pharma Trust, and there is a company called as a MediLedger. These two companies are trying to manufacture the medicine using the blockchain. You know what happens? The moment the manufacturer manufacture that medicines, that details will first be stored into the smart contract, same smart contract. Okay. Then distribution, who is going to distribute, those details will be stored in smart contract. So it will be distributed either to hospitals or pharmacy or online pharmacy. All of these details will also be registered in the smart contract. When the end user will be able to purchase that medicine, right? This end user can be able to scan that particular medicine. There will be a QR code on top of it, and you can be able to go back and try to trace from which pharmaceutical shop you have purchased it, who is the distributor, who is the manufacturer. Same applies for online. If you're purchasing the medicines from online, you can scan that medicine, get these details, who is the distributor, who is the manufacturer. By any chance, if there are fake medicines being circulated, or if there are medicines which are not in a use, but still they are being manufactured, if your doctor is prescribing the medicines which is not of appropriate quality, just because the doctor will get commission if that doctor is preferring only those medicines, all these type of things, you can catch them. You can always go back and try to trace them, and ultimately the manufacturer, the distributor, the pharmacy, like who is been involved, or the hospital or the doctor, all of their licenses will be taken away. So whatever the licenses are there, all of those licenses will be taken away. And then ultimately what is going to happen over here is, in this process, their licenses will be cancelled and they will not be allowed to proceed further. Okay. So as a user, if you see, you will always be able to find out this information, and immediately you can sue them, so that they will become accountable. And if anybody is trying to do any such fake things, they will be caught and they will be removed from the process. This is the way which we all should be able to consider. Okay, where we can always go back and try to trace them. Coming to agriculture sector. Agriculture sector is also more or less, there are so many challenges in agriculture sector, but what I want to discuss is only related to decentralized application, a DApp. See, with blockchain, you can only make the things safe and secure. You can make it more immutable. You're not giving anyone like just to go and try to do whatever they want, like just to manipulate the data. So here, there may be so many challenges. You may say me that farmers are having a problem that where they don't understand the soil conditions, where they don't understand the climatic conditions. Yes, I agree with that point, but those are not the blockchain concepts. Those are the data analytics. Those are AI and ML, where we need to gather some data and give them the information that which soil is good, which land is appropriate for cultivating, what will be the climatic condition. That will not be a part of the blockchain. The part of blockchain, when we talk about agriculture, is we want to totally eliminate the intermediaries. Why? Because these people are one of the big headaches for the farmers. The reason is farmers are cultivating, end user is purchasing, but in between, who is getting profited is these intermediaries. They purchase it for a very less amount from the farmers, and then they go and try to sell it out for a very high profits, and intermediaries in the process are getting benefited rather than anyone in the process. So what we are indeed doing over here, if you see, is farmers are actually cultivating, okay, like fruits, vegetables and dairy products, or any other things. Farmers generally, they cultivate whatever is suitable for them in their particular land. So now these details, okay, will be registered into a smart contract. Like basically, it's a challenging thing. Why? Because your farmers will have an application with them, an app. Okay, in this app, I do agree that not every farmer will be literate enough to use the app and then get the benefit out of it. But we will put the pictures over here, okay, where they can be able to put, by just seeing the picture, they can click on it, and then the data will be feeded over there. And this application is connected to smart contract, where all those details will be registered into the smart contract. As you know, smart contract will always be deployed into the blockchain. So what happens is, at the end of the day, when an end user wants to purchase either from the wholesale market or a global market or distributor, end user can scan the product, and end user can see who, from which place it has come, what is its real expiry date, what is its real price, from which place it has been cultivated. We will not give the farmer name and all, because that's a privacy issue, but at least important details can be captured by the end user, and that end user can be able to know all of these details without any issues. So in this process, we are not allowing any intermediary to come. Farmer will just register the details. It will go to the smart contract. Wholesale market, global market, distributor, whoever is interested can be taking away their products, and they will be directly selling it off. And then the end user, they will be able to scan the product and they can see the information. Now you may ask me, what is the guarantee that wholesale market or global market or distributor will not manipulate the data? They cannot do. Why? Because the data is fed into this smart contract and is deployed into the blockchain. blockchain and know that blockchain is immutable, so automatically these guys, even if they want to go and try to tamper it, they cannot be able to do because of the immutability property. As it is immutable, so you cannot be able to go ahead and try to tamper any of the details, whatever may be the scenario. Okay, this is an important understanding what we all should actually be able to consider. Okay, where the end user will not be able to get any fake details in the process. If somebody like a global market wants to manipulate the data, they cannot be able to do because the data is all immutable. So the process becomes so much genuine enough so that as an end user, when you want to purchase anything, you will have the right data in front of you rather than any manipulative or a fake data. That's how agriculture wants to preserve everything in the system by removing all the third party and intermediaries and make the farmers get much benefit in the process rather than intermediaries. Food traceability, again, this is also same as drug traceability only. What happens is in the food traceability, see the data. Almost 4,20,000 people, they died just because of the contaminated food. Okay, this is used by Walmart. Okay, Walmart actually uses. The previous example, agriculture, is used by Provenance. There is a company called as a Provenance and PwC. Provenance and PwC is using the case study which I explained to you right now with regards to agriculture sector. Food traceability is used by Walmart. Okay, so how it happens is, let me say, when the farmer cultivates that product, that will be registered into the smart contract. Then there will be a producer, okay, who will be having a quality check. Let me say, for food, it is Food Safety Standard Authority of India. They will be checking the quality of the product and their certificate will also be kept in the smart contract. And then the distributor will distribute that product to retail, to consumer. So consumer means the end user. Once the end user scans the product using the QR code, right, that end user can get to know who has sold that product, from where it got shipped, whether it has a quality certificate or not by a standard body. And then ultimately, you can also be able to check whether the product is also been coming from where. So entire system becomes transparent over here. As an end user, you can see all the information appropriately and can be able to segregate them, and you can always be able to get the right type of the data. And when you want to travel back and trace, you can see appropriate data. This is being used by Walmart, where Walmart always makes sure that they are trying to sell the right type of a product rather than promoting any fake products in the process. Because you know, Walmart is a very big brand, and if the fake products are being sold there unknowingly, the reputation will be at stake, due to which automatically right type of products are always being sold, due to which you see that the food traceability mechanism is being used, where a end user can always scan the product with the QR code, and then he or she will always be able to go back and have information like from where it is coming, whether the quality certificate is there or not, whether the expiry date is appropriate or not, whether the product cost is appropriate or not. You can get to know in and out of that particular product or a food, where you can just get the information appropriately. Okay, coming to online identity. Online identity is nothing but this is already taken care by government. Let me say, most of you would have heard about the DigiLocker, right? DigiLocker means where you want to make sure that all the soft copy of your national identities, you can put it in the DigiLocker, right? Where it is a simple and easy, so that you don't need to always take that hard copy whenever you go to open a KYC. Okay, whenever you want any of the services, and if someone requires an identity, you can open that national identity from the DigiLocker directly and you can show them. But how much safe and secure DigiLocker is not known to any one of us till now. So that is the reason government is trying to think of adding a layer on top of this, that is blockchain, because already DigiLocker has made everything digitalized. Your national identities have right now become digitalized. That experiment is completed. Now what we want to do is, as the national identity is of topmost priority, so we want to add a blockchain on top of this DigiLocker and make sure that we are preserving much security to all the national identities. That's what the government is trying to look into, so that tomorrow, if you look into the data, right, the DigiLocker will be present entirely on top of blockchain. So that tomorrow when you want to use any banking service, government service, transport, hospital, any of the services, you will show DigiLocker only. But the DigiLocker data can never be tampered by anyone because that data is being deployed on top of the blockchain. That experiment is not done yet. Okay, it is still at the initiative level, that is at the POC level only, it is still there. But this is the initiative which is being taken forward by the government of India, ensuring that how we can preserve the security or how we can preserve the documents which is there in the DigiLocker by implementing the blockchain on top of it, so that no one can tamper that data even if they wish to do it. Okay, that's how we want to bring in the online identity and make everything is set appropriately over there. Okay, and then the final one for the today's session is the stock trading. Okay, stock trading, maybe some of you are aware or maybe some of you may not be aware of it. See, stock trading means in the market, you can be able to sell the shares. Okay, in the market, you can sell the shares. Shares in the sense what? Like, let me say, there is a company where I have purchased some shares of that company. That share value is, let us say, 5 rupees when I purchased it. Now, when I'm selling it, it is around 500 rupees. That is lot of profit for me, right? People will hold it. Once they get profit, they will either sell or they will wait. That is a different concept altogether, share market. But what I want to let you know here is, in this share market only, there are a lot of brokers who are fake, who make you believe that they have shares, but at the end of the day, when you pay them the amount, you will never get the shares, and indeed your money will be lost in the process. So what is going to happen here is, let me say, generally here there are two persons, that is Jason and Mark, who want to send the stocks. Now this stock will be taken into the block. So then what will happen? Jason, Mark, Jason's wallet, Mark's wallet. Okay, they will validate that whether really Jason and Mark are doing a right transaction, whether do they really have a stock. And if all four of them agree, then only the transaction will be registered into the blockchain, and then you will see the stock will be moved from Jason to Mark. In this way, what is happening is, the fake brokers who are there in the process, we are trying to get rid of all of them, so that even if they try to do some fake transactions in the process, they will be get caught. So what we are trying to do here is, we are making the validation mechanism very strong. And then the data is getting stored into the blockchain, so that when you want to trace it back also, it will be very, very easier. This is what Security Exchange Board of India, in short SEBI, is trying to implement to eradicate the fake brokers in the process. The reason is, if you are trying to sell the stock, that is absolutely fine, but you really have that stock. You cannot like play around saying that you have a stock and you make others believe, and then you get the payment and then you're left. Okay, and then your identity will be changed immediately. Those type of things should not happen. When somebody is trying to send the stock to someone, that should be validated by all the parties. That is the person who is selling, the person who is buying, their own wallets. Okay, and then once that validation is successful by all of them, then only the transaction will be registered into the block, and then the transaction is said to be successful. Otherwise, you cannot be able to do the transaction in the stock trading. Okay, that's how we want to implement it in the stock trading. See, now considering the timeline, we were able to take up as much as case studies we were able to take it. So the thought process behind this is, see, if you talk about case studies, there are hundreds of case studies like this. The point of why I have introduced this here is to inculcate and to give you some ideas, so that your mind can think in different ways for different sectors. That is the end goal of it. Okay, like when I'm ending my session, my expectation from all the participants is, you should be able to get an idea. You should get an inculcate some idea into your mind, that how we can do the things, what should be the thought process, what are all the domains which are available, how a DApp is created, on what platform the DApp is being there, what is a smart contract, what is a gas concept. Now, these all things have given you an understanding, so that you should know what exactly is a DApp. Afternoon session, whatever we understood theoretically, right, we will get to know practically also, so that your DApp concept will be fully clear in your mind. So this is the thought process of what I have introduced to all of you. Hope that all of you have liked the session. So now I will be able to take up a question for another 1 or 2 minutes. You can please put your questions, and then I will be able to hand it over to ma'am. Okay. So this is what I want to deliver it for my morning session. In the afternoon session, we will be able to go through practicality. And if still there are some more questions, anyhow, afternoon I will come, right? And you will be the same set of participants. So you can also ask me in the afternoon session also. If there is something which you thought has been pending or left over, you can always feel free to ask. Thank you so much, Srinivas. Thank you, Mikla. Thank you, Dr. Kunj. Hey, thank you, Alok. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Neetu. Yeah. How DApp developers get benefit after deploying? See, first of all, what is that the benefit when you deploy that is? See, the benefit is you are going to host. Okay. Second thing is the time which is being utilized on your application. Third thing is slowly you can make the, like let's say Uber or a Swiggy. You can do that on your blockchain also. Slowly you will give it for free. After that, you will create services and you will generate revenue from your application. Okay. So yeah, again, it is the condition whatever you provide between a user and a developer. Correct. See, whatever the condition which you would be taking it up, Prasad, right? Accordingly, your work will be taken into consideration. That is up to you and the developer who is going to put the conditions, whatever the share and the market revenue will be captured. That is altogether a finance part. Yes, land record can also be maintained into the blockchain technology where no one can be able to tamper the record. Abhishek, for this, you can take an example of government of Telangana. Okay, they've already implemented it successfully. You can have a look. See, blockchain network of all hospitals means like Apollo Hospital, KIMS Hospital, AIMS Hospital. You can take a bunch of hospitals who are there in the entire India, right? They can be one single network where all the hospitals will be present. The best example is when you take an insurance, right? They will give you a network of hospitals in that insurance. Same. Blockchain network means a bunch of hospitals being there in that network who can actually help us out in whatever way it can be. Okay. So perfect. Till here I covered it. Could we build a smart contract for cyber physical system to take my? So if you want to create any such thing like Devnath, yes, you can be able to do that. Okay, for a cyber physical system also, you can be able to build a smart contract. The prerequisites over here is we should be able to know the algorithms, what we have to use, what we want to enforce, so that we can detect that malware analysis appropriately. So the prerequisites is you should make your smart contract understand what algorithms we have to use, like KICAC 256 or SHA-256 or any such algorithms which you want to use, so that your smart contract will get familiarized, and then you can build a smart contract to detect the malware analysis. That would be the prerequisite for it, Devnath. Okay. I see that I've answered all the questions. Hope that I didn't miss anything. Yeah, I didn't see anything. Which type of techniques are available? Yeah, you can use sharding and side chain part, Padma, right? Yes, that is correct. What are requirements needed? If you want to do a business in blockchain, as I said, right, to start a new business, first you should know the smart contract rules, which I explained in the today's session. Once you get the clarity, then you need to promote that to your clients and get some clients to do the business. Okay, fine. I think I have answered everything. Okay. So in the next session, we will discuss the remaining part. By any chance, if any one of you think that I have not answered your question, okay, you can please feel free to ask me in the afternoon session, and then I will be able to answer it accordingly. But majorly, I've covered all the questions, but still, if you believe, you can always feel free to ask me. Okay. Thank you once again, everyone, for your time. Okay. Have a great time, and we will meet again this afternoon at around 12:30 p.m. IST. And over to you, ma'am. So thank you, everyone, participants.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Prasanth. And it was a great session, and obviously you have taken most of the questions. Participants, if you have any questions remaining, we can take those questions in the next session. because Mr. Prasanth will be joining us from 12:30 today itself. So participants, please take a break of 30 minutes and make sure to join the session 5 minutes before 12:30 so that we can start the session on time. So thank you, sir, and we will meet at 12.